Lovers, welcome to this week's Cuppa with Katie show. It's such a pleasure to be with you again today. And you've got me with quite buffy curly hair today because I had a photo shoot yesterday and they curled my hair up and it's kind of lasted, which is amazing. I slept in it and it's remained. So I'm making the most of my curls. They actually remind they remind me of a Barbie doll I had. She had beautiful curls, and I used to love playing with her curls. Anyway, I'm feeling a bit like Barbie today. And that's okay. That's a nice change, actually. How are you all? It's so good to have you here. Please, as you're joining, say hi. You know, I love to know who I'm chatting to. And if you're on the replay, as always, please type in hashtag replay. So I can just, I love knowing who watches and I love reading your comments. So if you're here and as I'm chatting, if you've got any feedback or thoughts or shares or even questions, if I have time, I will answer them. If they're not for this call and you have questions, I'll answer them on another one perhaps. With that in mind, if you do have questions about your relationship to yourself, knowing and loving yourself, your relationship to others, perhaps dating, perhaps the status of what's going on in your existing relationship, anything, love, dating, relationships related, I'm your girl. So you're very welcome to email a question to us and perhaps I will answer it on a future show. And you email, it's on the bottom of the screen here, support@theschoolofself.love. Who's here with me? Who's that? Good morning. Lovely. Wendy. Hey, darling. Good morning. Yeah, really, really nice to be with you. And if anything I share today, speaks to you and you think it might speak to a friend, then by all means share it. Yeah, share the love. We love to share the love. Oh, yay. It's Layla from Dubai. Hi, darling. How are you doing? Layla's doing some amazing transformational work at the moment. So proud of you, my darling. So proud of you. You're doing so great. Emma, hello. Good morning. Bit rainy here, isn't it? I know Emma doesn't live very far away from me. Joe, and you too. You don't live far away from me either. Good morning. It's a little bit rainy. I've got out of the dog walking this morning. So I'm here with you instead, having my cup of tea, and then I'll be off to Pilates. Okie dokie. So let's talk about loneliness. So this is a subject that came up with one of my private clients last week. And let me just continue saying my good mornings. Hey, Rebecca, good morning, honey. So good to have you. And you're good. That's great, Layla. So glad. Let's talk about loneliness. So this came up for a client. And just to preface, she, and I reckon if you relate to this topic, you're probably going to be quite the same because I do tend to attract women who are quite similar. You probably quite like your own company most of the time. You're probably pretty good on your own. I mean, if you're like me, and I know that I probably come across, doing live stuff and speaking live and everything, that's quite an extrovert energy, isn't it? But actually, I really am very, very introverted. I really like my time on my own. I crave it. I thrive on it. I love nothing more than being in my pajamas under a duvet with a hot water bottle watching my favorite TV show. That was me last night. So like I said, I did a photo shoot yesterday. I was shattered when I got in last night. And that's all I wanted to do is be in my PJs under the covers with my hot water bottle. Actually, my son he just looked at me and he's like, "You're in your element." I'm like, I am in my element. So I do love, I guess I kind of love a mix of both. I love sort of being out in the world amongst it. I like to shine, and then I do like to retreat. And let's think about this. It's probably like I don't know. Yeah, it's probably 50-50. I think I need an exact mix of both. And so this client is, she is really good at her own company. She really thrives at home doing her own thing. I think she's starting her own business. I say I think. I kind of know she's starting her own business at the moment, and her personality type is perfect for that. But she's feeling lonely and lonely and alone, which doesn't really make sense because she does like being alone. Hi, Sophie. Good to have you. And she finds that she's like, well, then if I'm feeling lonely and alone, I'll go put myself in company. So she'll go out and she'll be meet up with friends, go to parties, yada, yada. And she feels even more lonely as a result of doing that. And that feeling of loneliness is very exhausting, particularly in company. So when she's in company, she's tired because there's something else looking for her attention. So often what we do when we feel lonely, and if you're single, this is a thing. But look, I've been in relationships that just aren't working, and I've felt more lonely than ever before. I think I know I've been in relationships where I've felt more lonely in relationship than when I was single. And I wonder if any of you can relate to that. It's a thing. Um, yeah, good to have you here live too, Sophie. It's Easter holidays, right? So you're around. That's awesome. It's a thing. It's quite a confusing thing actually to be in a relationship and feel lonely. So you don't have to be single to be lonely, right? So when loneliness comes up for you, how do you handle it? Now, this client that I am working with, she's very conscious. She's been on her transformational journey for a while now. Very self-aware, very connected woman. And she noticed that there was an increase in her behavioral habits to have her repress and ignore and kind of push down her lonely feelings, which she wasn't okay with. She's like, I'm not all right with these behaviors. Like it's not okay to ignore how I'm feeling. I want to address how I'm feeling. Now, just on that subject, so there's healthy ways of listen. Okay, I'm going to do it in inverted commas. There's healthy ways of ignoring how we're feeling, seemingly healthy, and there's super self-sabotaging, unhealthy ways. So, an unhealthy way of repressing and ignoring how you're feeling might be drinking too much booze, might be completely numbing out. I mean, this is what I used to do. Like I would pour wine, I'd go to my comfy couch and I'd put on a box set and I would numb out on television and booze. It's not very healthy. Okay, there's a time and a place for doing that where I'm not avoiding my feelings. But I know the difference, and I know that you know the difference. Binge eating to numb out and push down feelings is not very healthy. Gambling, smoking, obsessive kind of internet shopping, where suddenly you're like, how the hell did my credit card bill get to that state? You know what your unhealthy coping mechanisms are. And they're a real signpost that there's something going on looking for your attention. Now, there are also some pretty healthy mechanisms, but I was doing that before because we never want to ignore how we're feeling. If we're feeling something, our feelings are a signpost. I really believe our feelings are the way that our spirit communicates what's looking to be healed and evolved, and our spirit is always looking for expansion, and our spirit shows us what's next in line to be expanded, usually requiring healing through our feelings. So we can't ignore them. But sometimes, especially, when you're single and you're preparing to call in your person and you do have all of this extra time to yourself, sometimes I miss that time, not going to lie. You have this time to yourself. It's a good time to get shit done. So do your decluttering, tidy up the house, get those odd jobs done, catch up with friends you haven't caught up with in ages. Like there's stuff that you can do to busy yourself and help while you're feeling lonely. that's all good, and she's noticed she's doing a lot of that. So she's like thrown herself into decluttering, and she's working on her business, and she's doing all these things to help, but she's still lonely. So she has to address it. So then her head is going to, and let's see if you relate to this. Her head is like, okay, I need to understand the root cause of this. I need to drill down and get to the bottom of this and understand why I'm feeling this way, because it's more than I'm just single. Because actually, kind of okay being single. I quite like my own company. There's something else going on here. I need to understand the root cause. And I understand that, and sometimes there's a place for digging and exploring and looking for what that is, and what is causing the feeling. But for this woman, the intuition I had for her, and I feel like this is true. I feel like this is true for all of us. Sometimes, do I want to say always? I feel like I might want to say always. It's about being with the feeling and surrendering to the feeling. And actually, the key word here is fully acknowledging the feeling. And the other key word is without judgment. So it's full acknowledgement without judgment. Because you could say, oh, she was acknowledging that she's feeling lonely. And that's why she reached out to me. And she's like, I'm feeling lonely. What can I do about it? Can we explore the root cause of this? So there was an acknowledgement of it there. But her acknowledgement came with judgment, because she's like, I don't want to feel this. I shouldn't be feeling this. I need to know the reason for this so I don't have this experience anymore. So she was trying to find a way to not have the experience anymore. But there's a subtle difference between that and coming at it from a slightly different perspective and energy, which is, how could I? So it's about asking yourself a different question, like, how can I be with this experience without judgment? What is it within this experience? What is it within these feelings that is a signpost for me? Like, what is it that's looking to be witnessed? What is it that's looking to be seen and heard? How could I be with it and love myself? Like, can I just allow this and love myself? Why does it have to mean anything? Why am I putting meaning on it that it's wrong, that I shouldn't be having it? Like having this feeling, this experience. As soon as we start judging it and making ourselves wrong for it, actually what we're doing is intensifying it. We're putting our energy on it and we're making more of it. So it's actually more uncomfortable. Through the being with it and the allowing of it, we may very well actually then be shown the cause of it, the root cause of it. And it may be, there is something big triggered that came from our childhood. Maybe. We can't presume to know it. And I think it's kind of a shame to go into the this process of acknowledgement of the feeling with an attachment to, I'm going to get an answer for it. It's a very it's a very masculine approach. I need to get an answer to it. Why do we need to get an answer to it? Our feminine, it will just be like, let's just be with it. Let's experience it. Let's feel it. Let's move through the waves of it. And that's okay. So that would be our feminine approach. And it's a lot softer. And there's no timeline on it. There's no deadline on it. There's no outcome required. It's just can I just be with me and how I'm feeling? Like, even just saying that, can you feel the energy just go, ah, can I just be with me? Yeah, okay, I feel lonely. Can I just be with that? Can I love myself while I'm feeling that? Because the need to have to fix it, the need to have to understand it, the need to have it be done and over with, it's, I can feel that now. Can you feel the tension of that? Can you feel how the energy is like intensifying it? There's a discord within me. It creates anxiety. And we are both, right? We are masculine and feminine. So it is about finding that balance of the two and being able to hold both of those pieces. So it's even about loving your masculine mind that wants the freaking answer, that wants it to be gone, that wants to move on to the next thing. It's like, can I just love that part of me that wants that? Because there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not that helpful in this moment. There'll be something to do with it later, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if there's a next step with this. Like maybe by being with it, allowing my feminine to feel her feelings, maybe I'll be shown that, yeah, maybe I need to go book a session with my coach or book a session with my counselor or like whatever the guidance is. Maybe there will be something to be done with it, but not yet. Can we just be with it first? And so there's a couple of practices that I suggested to her to help her be with it. So right there, we are bringing the masculine in with some action. So we're inviting the masculine in with a practice that can allow the feminine, like to create a container to hold space for the feminine to immerse herself within and be and feel her feelings. I'm going to share that with you in just a second. I want to have a sip of my tea and I want to read the comments. So Rebecca is saying, yes, I can relate to that. When I was married, I was desperately lonely, except surrounded by people all the time. Yeah. And the thing is, when you then surround yourself by people and you wonder why you're feeling so exhausted, which is the case for my client, and I used to get like that too, it's because actually you're exhausted because you're pushing against, you're resisting what your soul wants you to do, which is just to sit and be still and acknowledge and feel the feeling. When you're going out and putting yourself amongst it so that I'm not lonely, there's a disconnect, there's an anxiety being created. That's very, very tiring. It's not the solution. I think this is Layla is saying, I absolutely get that, those coping mechanisms. I get that when I'm frustrated and haven't shared my truth. Yes, that's what we do. Yes. Sophie says, yes, admitting to the feeling and allowing it to be has been a game changer for me. Yeah, because Sophie has been in the work for a while and her feminine has been rising for some time now and is, I would say, is probably leading your life now when once upon a time it wasn't. Yep, that's all good. Yes, we normally bypass that and there is relief after acknowledging it fully and just being with it. Yeah, totally. Okay, so it's a little practice that you could try, but let me have a sip of tea. Let me have another sip of tea because it's yummy. So a really beautiful practice would be to just take yourself and sit in front of a mirror. So when the feelings come up, it's going to require some private space. Okay. So if you are in a relationship and have kids and the house is busy, you're going to have to find a time when maybe everyone's out. But just create some alone time and sit in front of your mirror and look into your eyes. It's very beautiful to do, and it can feel very confronting if you've never done it before, but you will see yourself. I mean, really see yourself. We look in the mirror all the time, right? I look in the mirror when I'm brushing my teeth and I'm putting my makeup on, I'm doing my hair and I'm checking what I'm wearing. Not always looking in the mirror, but I look in the mirror several times a day, but I don't see myself. It's a different gaze. So sit and really look into your own eyes and see her and listen. Just listen. So it's almost like there's you standing in front of the mirror and there's her looking back at you. So you're going to witness her. She is craving your loving, compassionate gaze. So just spend some time looking in her eyes and wait until she's ready to speak. It's a bit like this sometimes when I'm coaching. My job is to sit often, just sit and hold space and wait and allow the client to speak when she's ready to speak. Sometimes there's lots of silence. My masculine would be like, there's nothing getting done here. Well, I'm being paid to do a job here. We're not doing anything. But there's a lot being done. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of energy moving. The transformation is happening in the silence because we're holding space. So you have to do that for you. It is crazy transformational. So you sit, you hold space for her. And when she's ready, she'll speak. Makes me emotional, actually, just feeling into this. So when she's ready, she'll speak. And you're going to let her say, how do you feel? You might even want to start the process with asking her, how do you feel? You're looking in her eyes. How do you feel? She probably will start with something like, I'm lonely. I feel alone. And just wait and let her share why. Let her share all that she feels. Just let her talk and say nothing. Say nothing. Just hold space and keep looking in her eyes. And when she's ready, she'll speak again. And something more might come through. But as she's speaking, she's releasing, and then there'll be another level unearthed to come up for her to speak. So just keep holding space and allow the silences and let her speak and let what's going to come up. Because literally, as you voice something, it's gone, and then the next layer rises, and it's gone, and the next layer rises. And that's, with this client, she wants to get to the root cause. Actually, this is a really beautiful, gentle way of doing that. But no pressure, and fully acknowledging that her feminine needs expression. She doesn't want to be freaking fixed. We don't want to be fixed. You know that when you're in a relationship with a man, and bless the man, bless him. You tell him your problems, you tell him how you're feeling, and he comes in with the fix. And you're like, I just wanted you to listen to me. I don't want the answer. I just want you to sit and hear me, hold me, witness me. Do you know, right? That feeling of when they come in with the solution and it's like, ugh. It like intensifies your anxiety and what you're dealing with. I don't want an answer. I just want to be heard. And this is what you have to do with yourself. And darlings, if you want to have a healthy, empowered relationship, this is the kind of dynamic you have to have with yourself, because we're vibrational beings, right? And our energy is met. So if we're able to do this for ourselves, then we are a vibrational match for a relationship that can do this for us and with us. And we can do it for them too. It's just as important that you sit and listen and hold space for your partner as much as they can do that for you. So, and actually, as you learn to do this for yourself and develop this compassion for yourself, you can do it way more easily for other people. Like, I had to learn to be able to do this for me before I could even be the kind of coach that I am, right? To be able to do it for my son, to be able to do it for my husband. The other day, my sister did it for me, and she's in Australia, and we're on WhatsApp, and I just sat and cried, and she didn't say anything. She just held space. And I cried, and we sat in silence, and then something, as we'd excavated, something else would rise up, and I would speak it. I'd cry. She was saying nothing. So she was doing for me what I'm suggesting you do for you in front of the mirror. And so going back to the mirror exercise, when you get to a point of, it's been said, it's all been said. You say to her, I love you. Look into her eyes and say, I love you. even though you've been feeling dot, dot, dot. So repeat back to her what she's been saying. So acknowledge her. You do this with small children. It's a really great parenting tip when you've got, doesn't matter their age actually. You almost repeat back to them, and it's a coaching tool. You repeat back what they've said to you so that they feel heard. So they know that you've heard what they just said. I know you feel lonely. And what else did she say about that? I know you feel embarrassed about that. I know you feel frustrated about that. I know you wish you didn't feel like that. I know, I hear that you realized that when you were 5, you felt lonely because da, da, da. Even though all of that, I love you. I completely love and accept you. And if she wants to speak some more, let her speak some more, because through being acknowledged and loved, some more might come up. And just allow that to be the process. Huge relief and healing occurs when we can be with ourselves like that. It's a very sacred presence. If it felt good for you, you might want to do a similar, have a similar experience with yourself in your journal. So you could just write and witness, hold space, write, witness, I love you. Even though you feel this, I still love you. So you could apply it do it in writing if that works for you. There's nothing more powerful than really looking into your own eyes, though. And if you like to use tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique, you might want to apply that. So, even though I feel lonely, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel alone, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm judging my loneliness, I completely love and accept myself. And you go through the tapping process. I've done lots of videos on that, or you can Google it. I'm just going to take a look at the comments. Sorry, going back. Going back. Oh, there's more comments. Oh, you guys are busy today. Hold on a minute. Great. So Lindy's saying, hi, Lindy. I've slipped back into this feeling. Yeah. And it happens. And so remember, if our feelings were just the way our soul communicates, if that's what they are, doesn't that feel kind of nice, actually? Like, don't you want to hear the whisperings of your soul? Don't you want to be able to connect with that really wise part of you that knows the next step that's moving you forward in life? Your feelings are doing that. Your feelings are showing you if you're on track or off track. So, yeah. I don't know what that was about, Sophie, but I hope so too. Rebecca, this is just what I needed to hear today, as I was fighting some painful feelings at the weekend. And then Sunday, I just went and dug in the garden, me and the earth, and things just seemed to process. That's beautiful. Yeah, you're in nature. You were present in your body because you were using it to do the digging. Yeah, that's very feminine. That's so, so, so beautiful. I'm so glad you had that experience. I hardly ever look in a mirror. It's powerful when I do. Yeah, absolutely. I do the mirror gaze. It's powerful looking into your eyes. It feels as though you're looking into your soul. But I haven't listened or asked anything. I'll do this more now. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. I just want to share that practice is something that intuitively came to me for this client. So it's not something that I was taught. Um, it just feels really true for me, and it's something that I would do for me, and I find it to be very powerful. So I'm sure there's lots of people teaching lots of mirror gazing type work and exercises, and maybe they teach exactly this. I just haven't learned it. And yeah, I'm sharing something with you that just is intuitively feels very, very good for me and very, very transformational. And it's, I have learned a way of relating to people through my coaching, training, and experience over the last 12 years. And this is essentially a reflection of that, but being able to do it for ourselves. And as you women know, like, my work is all about helping you to have empowered relationships, but you can't have that unless you have that with yourself first. So how you desire to be able to interact in relationship and be received in relationship, you have to do that for yourself. And that's what this mirror work does. And it's what it does for me. So Sophie, Rebecca, hope digging earth can be so releasing, can't it? Yeah. Yeah, it was like I was digging into the ground and then support came to me. That's really beautiful. That is really beautiful. There's Mother Earth right there holding you. Sophie's loving the process. You're welcome, my love. Super helpful practice I could use to connect more with my inner child. Yes. So you'll see the eyes of your little girl. Absolutely. When we really look at ourselves, we really witness our own vulnerability. And yeah, like when I look in my eyes in the mirror, I'm like, you're still that little girl. You're never going to stop being that little girl. Dave and I have a process now where the person talking states what they need at the beginning. So I'm looking for help, or I just want to say this or be sad, no fixing needed. Yeah. Hello, it's World Health Day tomorrow, apparently. My calendar just told me. Yeah, I'm with you there, Rebecca. Yeah, that is very beautiful practice to do in relationship. And I have to do that with James sometimes too. He's, I had a really big cry the other night, and he was really good at just holding space for me. Really, really, really good. He intuitively knew it, but sometimes I have to just ask. And that is a very powerful feminine practice too, is asking for what we need. Yeah. So powerful holding space for another like that. Yeah, it is. I love my work. Emma, I was feeling very lonely yesterday, even though I was with my whole work team. Yeah. Realizing that a few people don't listen to me, even though I'm always there for them. And so this live is so needed at the moment. I'll hold space for me today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. And that's a really good point, actually, Emma, because, when you are that person that does naturally hold space for other people, it can accentuate your own feelings of loneliness. But that accentuation of the loneliness will be that the communication from your soul it's showing you, darling, it's great that you're there for other people, but you just need to be there for yourself too. Like, what about you? Because otherwise what we're doing when we're not there for us, we're falling into victim, we're falling into martyr, right? We're going into that martyr role of, oh, I do everything for everyone else. Why doesn't anyone do anything for me? When we find ourselves there, it's because we're not filling ourselves up first, right? Tapping, always good, isn't it? Yes, we love a bit of tapping, Becca. Jenny, hello. Yeah, I've got my beautiful curls today, Jenny. I'm rocking the kind of the Barbie hair. Well, my Barbie doll when I was a little girl had like hair. I had all the Barbies, right? So I had the straight head Barbie, but I had the curly head Barbie. I feel like I'm channeling her today. Sophie, it's odd. Can't see everyone's comments here. Lots of love to everyone. Oh, that's why. So Sophie, the reason why is because it depends on what platform you're on. So this is on like multiple Facebook pages. It's on LinkedIn. It's on YouTube. We're everywhere. We like to be everywhere. We like to spread the love. So you'll just be seeing the comments on whatever platform you're on. That's how StreamYard works. Rebecca, yes, I have to practice asking for what I need. I'm getting better. And so do I, Rebecca. We have to practice. But as I learned some time ago, asking is the first step to receiving. And sometimes the ask is to God, life, the universe. We write it in our journal. Perhaps that's the ask. Sometimes we have to actually go to a person and ask for help. Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, I hope that has been something that you needed to hear today. I hope that there was a little reminder, a little nugget in there that is helpful today. Like I said, if you have any more comments or questions, throw them in. Make sure you pop #replay so I know that you've watched it. And if you think you have any friends that would like to hear this, please to be sharing it. I'd really appreciate it. And I bet they would too. And if you want more, if you want coaching from me, if you want amazing masterclasses from me, if you want Facebook group support from me where I actually get to know you, I can support you. We're in a beautiful group environment, amazing sisterhood. Most of the women on this call right now that I know are here right now are in my Love Lounge membership. It's a really, really beautiful space. The support in there constantly blows me away. These women like fully have their own back. They're healing the feminine wounds, which is the, that competitive thing where you can't trust other women. That does not exist in the Love Lounge. We're very, very, it's a very supportive environment, very loving. We're always learning, we're always growing, and I'm learning and growing alongside everybody there too. I need the space just as much as they do. And yeah, so if you would like to get on our group calls where we can actually see each other, because right now I'm just talking to a screen, I can actually see you and talk to you and coach you and love you. You're very welcome to come join the Love Lounge. And we have a 7-day free trial as well. So you can come in, check it out, feel into it. If it's for you, you can stay. If it's not for you, you can leave. No questions asked. We will not process payments if you don't want to be there. We don't operate like that. We're very above board and authentic about these things. So if you want to just come try it out, the links in the preamble above, please do. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Sending you loads of love. Mwah. Oh, there's lots of thank yous. Let me show the thank you. You're welcome, Rebecca. You're welcome, Sophie. You're welcome. So glad. All right, darlings. See you next week.